Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Spesh, and today is going to be the newest episode of the ZPod podcast between Joe and I. We're going to talk about the new Firebase Z Easter Egg. We're going to talk about all the side quests. We're going to talk about the story moving forward and also kind of what they could have done better and kind of just where we think the storyline is going from there. So if that's kind of your guys' thing, go ahead and like this video. Don't forget to subscribe down below and leave a comment down below and let me know what you guys want us to talk about on the next ZPod and if this is something you guys kind of like. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce my co-host, Joe.
What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Lanjo. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Of course, dude. Of course. You the zombies MVP, dude.
I would hardly say that. But
I'm just saying, I had a lot more downs than you the last time we played.
That was the first game, bro. First game. First game that you got to warm up.
Right, of course. All right, dude. So, first of all, Joe and I both, so the night that Firebase Z came out, we did end up playing. Joe didn't think he was going to be able to, but...
Are you outing me right now?
Joe didn't think he was going to be able to, but we actually did end up getting to play and kind of experience it together for the first time, so that was pretty cool.
So cute.
Yeah, we held hands the whole way. It was real nice. So, Joe, how did you like Firebase Z, just overall?
Initially, it was good to start. I think it had a lot more action than D Machine at the very beginning, which is kind of a good thing because D Machine's pretty easy, I'd say. If you follow me on Twitter, you'll see that I had a tweet that said the Mimic and Mangler spawns are too damn high, with that like meme of that one guy. So that's another part of my initial reaction there is the resources we were given could not meet the demands of Manglers and Mimics to start out. Obviously, like once you learn about the map more and you figure out your way and your navigation through it, becomes a little bit easier. But as a first playthrough, I think it's better now that I know kind of like where to go and like what to do and like I feel better equipped. But the first time through, I felt very overwhelmed.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The very first time we played it, I did not like that map. It's not that I didn't like it. I agree. It was too hectic. There was too much going on, and like obviously didn't know how to make the Ray K. Like I didn't get out of the box for like 1,000 different times I hit the box. So like,
excuse me, you got the Ray K like on your 5th box hit that first game, I think.
The fuck I did.
You got it early. That's all I know. I think you got it pretty early.
Well, anyways, yeah, and then the Manglers and the Mimics, it was just non-stop. And it almost does kind of feel like they may have tuned it back a little bit. But even so, it was bad. I mean, and then going off of that, the fact that, like, they made it so, like, those did not count. Like, there was a bug that just made it so those did not count towards camos. That was absolutely ridiculous.
Maybe a bug, maybe they just forgot to put it in. But yeah, definitely that was a huge mistake the first. Has the map been out for... 6 days?
Yeah, a week tomorrow, I believe.
Basically a week tomorrow, yeah. So yeah, 6 days, believe it or not. 7 minus 1 is 6.
Okay, dude.
Yeah, just like 6 days without all those elite eliminations. It's just kind of brutal. I feel like big mistake on their part.
Yeah, and now I feel like Fire is definitely the place to go for elite eliminations now, just because obviously the higher spawns of them makes it a lot easier to get your elite kills, and then also the Orda. Like killing Orda, you can technically kill Orda at least twice. I actually honestly don't know if like every 30 rounds you get Orda again.
Yeah,
I'm not
as
sure.
Like the defense.
Yeah, so if you do, I mean, Podgers.
Shit. Yeah, just round 30, round 60. I mean, if you can get that high, good for you. But like at that point, like if you can get that high, you're probably done with most camos anyways. But
that's
regardless,
true.
Like what we talked about, like is. I don't know. Whenever we've done the Easter egg, I've seen it done, or like after the first day, like where we kind of like optimize it a little bit. You can finish it around like between I'd say like 15 and 20 on average. And at round, when do mimics start spawning? 8?
I think I've seen them as early as 6.
So starting at round 6, you're guaranteed at least one elite elimination, all the way up to 20. If you finish the Easter egg around 20, and then at 15 you start getting Manglers, at least 2 per round. You have the defense step in the Easter egg where you have to like do that lockdown in like jungle defense, where there's I think 2 or is there 4 Manglers in that step?
I don't know.
I just know
Pain in
there's
the
at
ass.
least one at the beginning and then one at the end.
Yeah.
So there's just like there's so many elite eliminations that can be had on Firebase
Hmm.
Z. So like if you're still playing D Machine trying to go for camos, you're doing it wrong. That's all I'm gonna say.
True. True. I wholeheartedly agree. D Machine's definitely easier, but if you're doing it for those camos specifically, that ain't it, Chief. That ain't it.
Yeah.
And especially the fact that you can literally spawn in a mimic, like with the key and the lockers, like you can just spawn in. A
Oh,
mimic.
true.
So
Yeah, it's a
like,
free spawn too.
yeah, and you can do it multiple times, and there's got to be a
Oh,
way to spawn in
you
manglers.
can. Well, no, but you can also mess up the step where you have to find the fake aether container with like
Oh
the
shit,
the
that's
smoke. So you can just like
true.
you can just spawn mimics that way too.
That's a
I
really
forgot
good
about that.
point. Shit,
Look at me.
I might have to make a whole new dark ether fast method. What?
See you next week on YouTube for Spesh's new Dark Ether Fast video.
He thinks I'm gonna include him in it, chat. What a guy.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. Why'd you stop saying chat, bro?
YouTube. All right, so what were your thoughts about Firebase Z? Like before the Easter egg, I guess we kind of got it there, but then what about after the Easter egg? Like once the Easter egg came out, after we had to wait those couple days, like what were your initial thoughts on what all happened?
So that morning I didn't have work until like 1 or like I think it was 12:30. So I watched basically the entirety of the Easter egg get solved. Um, Too fast. It's just too fast. The fact that it launched at 10, got solved by like 12:30. It's just too fast. So I don't know if they need to make it more convoluted. Like, and I also don't know if this is me being an old head talking about like Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 Easter eggs, but like the fact that the map is live, the Easter egg is live for 2.5 hours, and it's done. I think is it's just too easy at that point. Um, I think the Easter egg overall is really fun. It's really cool, and I like this map much more than D Machine in terms of like content that it brings, progressing the story forward, and like the Easter egg how it presents itself. I think there's definitely less like context in this one compared to like D Machine, just like with like the doctors and like the anomaly, like the anomaly ghosts and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a very key thing that kind of like propelled the story forward in D Machine, whereas like this one, like it's legit conversations we have with Peck and Weaver talking about it, and then obviously like Sam at the end and like Ravenoff. But I don't know, my thoughts like after I don't know. It's just kind of like where it goes next. There's lots of implications. It just depends on how they capitalize on those implications. But overall good.
So what would you rate it like out of 10? What would you rate the map right now?
What's my 10 map? Is my 10 map like
It could-
Horizon?
yeah, it could be like DE, just whatever your favorite map of all time is.
Firebase Z is probably like a solid like 8.5, 9.
That's what I would say.
It's really good. Like I'd say, I would not be surprised at the end of Cold War if this ended up being the best map. And I don't think I could have said that about D Machine after playing it, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like there are maps you play that you're like, man, like this one's gonna be like this is it. Like this is that map for this game. I could definitely see Firebase Z being that one for this game.
yeah. If we would have got to the end of Cold War and we looked back and said D Machina was the best map in the game, there would have been a big problem. Like that would have mean that
Like-
this was an utter failure.
Yeah, compared, I wouldn't say utter failure because I think D Machine overall is like it's decent. I'd give it like a 7.
Yeah,
But if that's the best, it's not great. I wouldn't say utter failure though.
yeah. That's
I
fair.
guess it does depend on like the other ones. Like if they're all like hovering around that same area of like how we kind of feel about them, then it's not a failure. But like same thing with like Black Ops 4. Like not to like go back and like bring up something that's not important, but like 9 is really good. But like every other map was like pretty meh.
Yeah, exactly. 9 is
So,
the
like,
best map in Black Ops 4, no doubt.
And like 9 being probably around the same levels like Firebase Z, I'd say, or like close to it in terms of like enjoyment and fun. I'd say Firebase Z a little bit more.
yeah,
It's just like its cast and crew around it were 4s and 5s,
yeah.
whereas like Firebase Z already has a 7 with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, imagine if in Fire or in 9 we would have gone in as like the Primus crew. Oh my god, that might be one of the best maps of all time. If we went in with the Primus crew and it extended that story even further instead of having it be chaos.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, what do you think happened with Samantha then while she was trapped in the dark ether, and like kind of what do you think her story arc was throughout that whole thing?
Um, that's the thing is, like, I don't know. Like, I definitely know, not definitely know. We will find out more as like this more intel's found out. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
with Firebase Z and like going to the next map, whatever it so chooses to be, and whatever kind of like content they decide to bring out in between that to bridge gaps. Because at the end, she mentions like Weaver, we need to talk. Like we have a lot to talk about. Blah 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 blah. So I don't know fully like what was going on in there. I don't know if like because it says like Peck was doing like experiments on her, right?
Well,
Or like they
his experiment was to see how long someone could last in the dark ether, basically.
yeah, and she lasted. Do we know how long she lasted, or is it just like a general
he
like
said
she was in there a long time?
he said that she had been in there for a few days, which means he thought that she
Yeah,
would already be dead. So the
for
fact that
sure.
she was alive and still able to fucking move, like,
Yeah,
yeah. So I don't know. I'm thinking like kind of especially with Samantha coming out of the OPC, like with all the possible like maybe Nikolai's goggles. Now obviously they're not the exact same models, but I feel like this is kind of Treyarch's way of blending the old storyline, but not not quite like
they're throwing us a bone. You
yeah.
know, like I don't know if we're ever gonna see all the things referenced. Like, I mean, she's wearing a red scarf, Monty. She's wearing goggles, Nikolai. She has a katana on her back, Takeo. Like, there are things that are like referenced there, but like I don't know if like we're ever gonna see those characters in the flesh again.
Right. And I almost kind of doubt we will, but I do think that it'd be really interesting. The way that I would kind of want this to work is like within D Machina, obviously we have all the spectral reflections and stuff like that. I think
Like the monkeys and stuff like that. Is that what they're considered?
yeah, they're spectral reflections, and then like all the times we use the ether scope to like find other ghosts and such. Those
Yeah,
are
like the blending between that and like the dark ether in a way.
right. So
Okay.
I think it would be really interesting if we like could like maybe in the next map some way somehow we have like spectral reflections of like the souls and stuff of like the premise crew. And
Yeah, like
or
depending
like
on like how they incorporate it.
right, or even like maybe it's not even directly of the premise crew, but like of like spectral reflections, like talking about members of the premise crew, like
Sure.
that may
Or
have
like
dealt with
people
them.
like yeah, like I don't know. Depends on like where they take it, but
Right.
like the location like say this is just an idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like if the location was similar to like what where the Great War was, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like there are like spectral reflections of people that experienced the Great War and then they talk about the premise crew and stuff like that. Like I think that that would be something they could easily do. I I just don't know like since they didn't include reflection like special reflections in Firebase Z, I don't know how likely it is that they will do it. You know what I mean? Like the one consistent thing is like obviously like the dark aether like anomalies like the portals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like I just don't know like I don't know what I'm trying to say. I just feel like since they didn't do it on Firebase Z, like the likelihood of them doing it again on a map later it just seems lower to me for some reason. But I mean, I think it all depends on like where the map is, like location wise and stuff like that.
Right. Well, and it'd be really interesting, especially because rumor has it one of the maps that we're going to be having is the Berlin map, where it might include
Yeah.
both Verrückt as well as Kino der Toten. So it's
Uh-huh.
like, I feel like with something like that, they could definitely include things like from the old story, like spectral reflections of like what Richtofen and all them were doing at Kino and stuff like that when it originally came
Sure.
out. But I mean, or even when they go into the dark ether and they're there, maybe it takes them back to a different time. And I mean, technically, it's in a different universe where all of them were
Yeah.
there. So like maybe it takes us back and we see them.
See them in that realm compared to like the physical realm of like where we take place in Berlin. I totally get what you're saying. It just I think it depends on like what they want to do. If they want to lay that those characters to rest, or if they just want to have small nuanced like references to them. I don't think either way would be bad. I don't think either way would necessarily be like 100% a hit or not because like they have to do something with Sam coming out of the OPC wearing a red scarf, goggles, and a katana. Like, there's no way that wasn't done on purpose. Like, it would just be silly of them to try and, like, pass it off as, like, here's your little, like, here's your golden ticket to the original Aether storyline. Here you go. And then they just move on with their lives. Like, if they did that, I think that would be a complete waste of a cutscene, pretty much. The first cutscene we see in Cold War as well is, well, in-game, I guess, as like an outro. So.
Yeah, and I don't, like, Treyarch doesn't do things on accident, you know what I mean? So, like,
Yeah.
something like that.
Shit, Monty's freaking scarf was on Origins on a post.
Yep.
Like, it's not an accident.
Yeah, everything they do is intentional. So they knew exactly what we would think when we see her walk out with a fucking katana on her back. Like, there is no way that they're just like, nah. They're not going to think about that.
Yeah.
And so, like, I was kind of thinking, like, some of the intel in, I guess, kind of where are we going? Where are we going? Like, where we're going
From here.
in the next map. Like, the intel, especially with Samantha, like, so, do you think that Samantha now has, the ether inside of her again? Or do you think it never left her to begin with?
I don't know. That's tough to say, because I think it's all subjective of what you think about where they were walking through at the end of Tagger Toten, like that end cutscene, what they're walking through. If that's the ether in a way, like, I think then they're always attached to it in some semblance. It's just a matter of, like, there's just this big gap that we don't know about, of, like, from there into her cutscene on the phone, talking, like, on, like, you know, in the phone booth, that big first teaser that we got. I just don't know fully, like, if there's something in between there, like, before she became like a Requiem agent and stuff like that. What that means.
You did not just say that.
What did I say?
You did not just call Samantha a Requiem agent. She is not a Requiem agent. I have said that in like 4 different videos, Landjo.
Okay, then cut it out. Jesus Christ. I don't know, dude. Like, I'm trying to think, like before it happens. Like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like that, like, so there's no way that she, in my opinion, that she just, like, they went into this new universe and she didn't have some form of ether inside of her. Now, whether or not, like, she could access it like she did at the end of Alpha Omega and Togder Toten.
When she goes Super Saiyan.
Yeah. When she goes Super Saiyan, yeah. So I'm not sure if, like, it's something that she can access or it's something that gets just kind of dormant inside her, but then when she gets thrown into the dark ether, maybe
it, like, activates.
Yeah, and that's why she tells Weaver, like, well, we have much to talk about or whatever. And, like,
could explain why she didn't die.
Exactly. That's the other thing, is, like, was the dark ether basically not strong enough to kill her because of everything else she had, like, already inside of her? So I don't know. And, like, the fact that she comes out with purple eyes and eye color has always been such an important part of Call of Duty Zombies. Like,
yeah,
I just feel like there's no way that she doesn't have, maybe she doesn't have powers, but there's something different about Samantha now that wasn't in
I mean, because her eyes weren't purple, like, in that first cutscene, right?
No, I think they're blue.
Yeah, so, like, and then they're very obviously purple, like, in the poster. Like, they're similar looking to, like, the poster that we got for Firebase Z.
Right.
So, yeah, I definitely think that there's some sort of connection there where, like, either she's connected to the Aether or, like, she finds something in there that, like, gives her some, like, I don't know. I don't want to say powers because that just seems, like, cheesy, but, like, some sort of connection back to, like, her previous Samantha state from the original Aether storyline, basically.
And, yeah, like, just to kind of, I guess, like, land the plane on this whole idea, like, I think that maybe, because allegedly going into the dark ether kind of gives people amnesia. It's why they have the truth serum that they were able to use on Dr. Peck to begin with. So it makes me wonder if, like, maybe, I don't think that she forgets what happened in her past life. But maybe when they walked through the portal at the end of Togder Toten, maybe that kind of erased her memory of her past life. But at the same time, it does kind of seem like she knows it, because I think in the like the trailer for D Machina, she says like it's happening again or whatever, something like that. And I think some intels,
Yeah.
like in one of the intels in Firebase Z, she says like when I was a child, I had nightmares about these monsters, blah blah blah, and I told myself I was
Yeah.
foolish. So it's like I don't know, and yeah, and like she's like laughing like hysterically and creepily while she's like in the dark ether and like being tortured or whatever, and it's like I don't. There's definitely a side to Samantha that we don't know yet, and it's just when and if we're gonna figure out all the nuances to it and how it connects to the old storyline. I mean, it's literally going to take us months to figure that out.
100%. Because I mean, the next map, it won't confirm like really any suspicions about that. I feel like they'd save that for like the fourth or fifth, like the final map, basically, like to kind of like tie everything together.
Right. Yeah, and I don't think the next map's going to come out until like April or like maybe late March, early April is kind of what I'm thinking. And even then, that might be a stretch, but
The end of season 1 was a false hope, huh?
yeah, there's not going to be another map on the 24th like we were hoping. There's no way.
Game.
So, speaking of new maps, where do you think we're going moving forward, and what are your like concerns with the gameplay and the storyline and just how Treyarch are doing everything, moving on to the next map?
Where we go? Well, I mean, we've kind of already touched base with it a little bit. I don't think like the one you mentioned earlier, like the Berlin Kino Verruct crossover Jimmy Timmy Power Hour is going to be like 100. Like, I don't think that's the next one. I don't think that's the next destination. Only because at the end of like the Firebase Z Easter Egg, Ravenoff mentions, I can't remember what mountains, but mountains. He
Ural.
mentions mountains. Sure. What you said. So I assume there's probably going to be something there. It's like, I don't know. It's hard to say because like if I'm thinking about it like logically, or I guess logistically, what happens after Samantha gets back to talk with Weaver? There's something else that's going to happen, and then she's going to be like, oh, Ravenoff also mentioned this. And then, so it'll be like one map, and then she'll remember to tell Weaver about what Ravenoff said. They'll go to the mountains, and then the end will be Berlin. But who knows? Like, I don't know, because that's like a DLC 2, DLC 3, DLC 4 cycle, but I don't know how many DLCs they're planning. If I had to give it a spot that's like a shoe-in, if what I said doesn't happen, I'd definitely say the mountains, though.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is like in Intel, like we've been hearing about the Ural Mountains forever, and even in the opening cutscene or the intro trailer thingy for Cold War Zombies, it showed Morasco, Poland, it showed Vietnam, and then it also showed the Ural Mountains. So, and it also showed Berlin.
Okay.
So like we're definitely going to go there at some point. And they also said in like the Intel stuff that it's literally the largest incursion zone. That's something that they've said. So it is possible that we don't see that Ural Mountains map until the very end. I wouldn't be shocked. Like it's like the biggest. It's all leading up to that, but
Okay.
it'll be interesting to find out if I don't know, because the other thing is there have been talks about between 4 and 8 maps. Now whether
8?
yeah, well that's the thing is they were talking about that.
Dude said 8?
They were talking about some of them being remakes, like Victus,
Yeah.
Victus map remakes, like Die Rise and Transit. So I mean,
Die Rise.
yeah, I'd rather die.
Yeah. All right, that was the end. Hopefully you guys enjoy.
So then what are your concerns, I guess, moving forward with it? Like, what do you need to see from Treyarch to what they can do better, and like how they can kind of help appease the community a little bit more?
Before we move on, I have a question.
Yes.
What order did they show those locations in the first like trailer you were talking about? Like what order were they in? Do you remember off the top of your head?
There was no order. They were all on different computer screens at the same time.
Oh, okay, that makes
They
more
were
sense.
all on Weaver's computer screens, yeah.
Disregard my question.
All right. I loved it.
Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what are your concerns moving forward? What can Treyarch do better, and what do they need to fix moving forward with Cold War Zombies?
Well, since I'm not a game developer and all that jazz, don't take this as gospel because I'm not a perfect person. I know they aren't perfect people either, and don't hate me. Um, this is also going back to the idea that I'm an old head, and the changes that they've made, I'm not like I guess like 100% like on board with yet. But I feel like in Black Ops 1, 2, 3, even 4, I don't want to say reliance because like that's gonna make it seem like a negative thing, like a crutch, if you will. How they kind of eliminated crutch perks in this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good quality of life update.
Yeah.
I just feel like the box is pointless at this point. You really only need it if you are playing like more than like I don't know, like you can hit it for the ray gun and D machine, and you can hit it for the shockwave. Other than that, there's nothing. There's nothing else to hit the box for. I feel like I can't think of a single thing. I'm like, man, I could use that right now.
Yeah, I feel like the only reason at this point to hit the box, like,
It's Wonder Weapon.
is the wonder weapon, and then like hopefully a higher rarity of a weapon that you want to use. Like, just simply because salvage is so hard to come by. Like
Totally.
it's a pain in the ass to have to get a bunch of salvage just to get your loadout gun to gold. With that being said, as I'm working towards camos, I'm still gonna do that. But if I can pull a better rarity out of the box, like I was playing earlier today, and I was trying to get the RPD gold, and I pulled a gold one out of the loot box in the free Juggernaut Easter egg. Like I'm gonna do that. So
yeah, 100%.
So then, how do you? Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like for those specific things like using salvage, you have to use it for armor and for upgrading guns. If you get the wonder weapon, it's at its max tier already. So all you have to worry about is getting armor and then upgrading your gun. So I feel like even then it's not super hard. Like if you're an experienced player, you can definitely get your weapon to gold rarity without a problem. I feel like it's obviously going to take a while. It might take, I don't know. I remember like on D Machine by round 30, I want to say. I had full armor, a gold, pack a punch, MP5, whatever, and then the ray gun. Like I was set by round 30.
Right.
Where like setting up like I mean round 30 is not great for setting up, but like on a map that's easier, like D Machine, like that's cakewalk. Whereas like on other maps in previous games, like you might be hitting the box till round 30 until you get a dingo or a haymaker or whatever wonder weapon. So it's like I just don't see. I don't know. There needs to be some sort of changes to box mechanics or class mechanics to give more incentive. Whether that's adding monkeys into the box, adding like other. Because I don't know. Like I like the drop system. Like I like picking up grenades, stims, flashbangs, stuns, decoys, and stuff like that. I hated getting like what were they like trip mines?
Yeah, in Black Ops 3.
Oh my god, there's no point to them.
No, they were
so
awful.
it's just like stuff like that makes sense to like just have as a drop,
right?
Or like a buildable on one of the benches for salvage and stuff like that. I think monkeys should be in both. I don't see a problem with how they do it now, but I think not having them in the box is a detriment to like. I don't like. I have so many points. I feel like I remember us playing the other day. Like I think it was either during the Easter egg run that we did, like the first night, or like the next day or something. I had like 28k points, and you're like, man, you got so many points. I'm like, yeah, I haven't had to buy anything because I don't have to waste my time hitting the box.
Yeah,
I built the Rake. I buy perks. That's it.
Right. Yeah, and that's
so it's like
that's the problem. Is like I specifically nothing to spend your points on is a huge problem, especially when salvage is still so hard to come by. Like you may not be able to spend your points on anything, but if you
imagine like a bank where you can exchange points for salvage.
See, that'd be perfect. Like some sort of conversion, like I don't know, like 10,000 points equals 1,000 salvage or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, which still isn't great. I mean, salvage is dummy expensive, but like at the same time, like it'll be easier to upgrade. Like, and that's the thing. Is like, is that just catering to the more casual player again? Like, because I feel like create a class definitely caters to a casual player. Like the armor system kind of does. The perk, like no perk limit kind of does, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It makes the game more enjoyable. It makes it like, man, like I don't want to like waste a soda fountain in Black Ops 3 just so I can play like Shadows of Evil with my friends, like stuff like that. Like it definitely helps with like the casual experience, but at the same time, there's just like limitations to it.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing is like, like to buy a monkey from one single monkey from the crafting bench, you have to spend 1,000 green salvage. It's absolutely ridiculous. So it's
Yeah.
like put them in the box so we can get like if you get it in the box, give us 3 like you used to back in the day, back in the good old days. It's
Mhm.
and just so we have a reason to spend our points and just hit until we can get monkeys, or we can buy it with salvage. It's just going to take a lot more. So just
Yeah.
and like when I have 1 million points, but I can't upgrade my gun to a gold rarity, like it's super
Yeah.
annoying.
There's just like there's no point.
Yeah, because I need so this much blue salvage or whatever. I don't know. It just kind of defeats the purpose. So
Yeah.
uh,
So that's one thing that I was like thinking. In terms of like the rest, I mean, them fixing the elite kills is something I expected them to do. So I think that's a good update. I mean, I wouldn't call it an update; I'd just call it like a patch.
right,
Um, the longevity of Easter eggs needs to be improved a little bit. I think like side quest Easter eggs are fine. Like they're not taking as long, which is I'm not. They're not going as quickly as the main Easter egg because like people obviously aren't looking for them.
right.
But I think the longevity of like and like the length of the Easter eggs can be improved a little bit to be more of like a quest feel. And they should be less handholdy, I think,
Oh,
in terms of like
100%.
my experience. Like I don't know, like for example, I'm trying to remember like what step this is. Like when you get the ether meter out of that locker,
Hmm.
like why is it right next to Peck?
Right.
Like I like it's just like this convenient locker that like they placed this very important part is right next to where you just happen to be standing. Like
Yeah.
it's just it's kind of silly to me. Like put it somewhere random. Like or it doesn't have to be random. Like it can make sense, but like it's just so like here you go. It's very like just like throws it in your face.
Yeah, and
And even like at the end, like with the satellite, I didn't want to interrupt you again, but
No, go
like
ahead.
the satellite at the end where it's like, Peck's like, ha, take it on the chin, go home. And then Weaver's like, what about this big ass satellite, bro? What can we do with that? Just like, it's silly.
Yeah. Well, and that's like I feel like a part of that is just going with like I know we didn't really play a whole lot of World War II zombies, but that's kind of a lot of what World War II zombies did. But they also like
Yeah,
they had like the handholdy part, and then they had like the extreme part where like you have your hand held through like a smaller Easter egg, but to complete the main Easter egg, you need to actually do stuff on your own. And
totally.
it makes sense that it's kind of that way, but it's all handhold. But like Sledgehammer was originally who was supposed to create this game, and they helped
100%.
develop this game. So
Yeah,
that part definitely came from them because we've never had that happen in Call of Duty before or in with a Treyarch game before. So and like the fact that I understand for some reason like why they did it, but the fact that they waited like 27-30 hours to release the full Easter egg so that everyone could do it, like I was super psyched because like they were like, "Oh, we're gonna release the map on the 4th or whatever," and I'm like, "I have the 4th off, and I had the 3rd off where they first technically released it," and I'm like, "I could actually look for this Easter egg." They're like, "Ah, f you, dude.
psych.
We're not
Yeah,
gonna release the Easter egg till Friday morning." So, oh, I'm like, "Okay, well, I have to go back to work that day, so thanks for nothing."
yeah. So like even I don't want to call you like a casual player, but like
Hmm.
the casual experience is ruined because of that.
Yeah, it's hindered.
In
I mean,
terms of like, yeah, no, I wouldn't say ruined, but yeah, definitely hindered.
yeah,
Ruined was a bad choice of word.
yeah. It's like and like going into the map, like for those first like 24 hours, like I played the map a couple times and I was bored because there's nothing else you can do. Like you couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't. Could you do the Reiki before it
You
had
could.
completely unlocked?
Yes, you could. You
So
could.
like we just didn't happen to find that,
Yeah.
which is fine.
Right.
But
So
like at the same time, one wonder weapon like up like Easter egg like I don't know tiding you over for what was that? Released it at like 11 and then
it was about 35 hours. It was released at
yeah
11 p.m. our time, and then it was released at the Easter egg was released 10 a.m. on Friday morning. So about 35
yeah
hours.
yeah. So it's
So
just like unfortunate.
yeah, I don't know. It just kind of like that was one of the things. Like when I first started playing the map, like it was fine, but I really didn't think it was all that cool because I was like, there's nothing to do. So it just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth at the start of the map.
Definitely, and like if for those people that like play the map for the first time and you can't do the Easter egg, if you're looking to do the Easter egg, like that first impression, like if you can't do it, it's just gonna I like it's just going to hinder the experience. A person like you're going to go back and play because like you love the game mode, like you like the story and all that stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
like you yourself, aside from like a content standpoint, wasn't necessarily hindered because like you knew eventually you'd go back and play the Easter egg and like all that stuff.
Right.
So, but other than it leaving a sour taste in your mouth, mainly for like content purposes, I'm not trying to like put words into your mouth, but like for me, I know that like you would have gone back and played it regardless. Like they could have released the map on the 4th and been like, all right, the Easter egg is locked until the 11th. You might be pissed, but you know you're still going to go back on the 11th and play it
Right.
whenever you can.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like if it was like Timmy, you know,
Little Timmy.
just Timmy, just plays it. He's like, man, this map sucks. There's so many spawns that kill me, and I can't do anything cool. All right, I'm done playing this game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like I don't know the timing of everything, like like I guess like almost like gatekeeping in a way of the Easter egg. Definitely, I think hurts it a little bit, but I don't. It's a problem. It's like it's a toss up. It's a double edged sword. Like, do we want it in Black Ops 3? How like everyone could like play the map early as soon as like they get the Easter egg. Like they get the map early because they have early copies of the game, right?
Right.
They get early access because they're big creators and all that jazz. Or like people that data mine and somehow find the localized files and blah 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 blah, and then they data mine the Easter egg and then it's done.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either that or you lock it. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just a matter of like what's the best experience.
Yeah, and one of the good things for locking it is like everyone has time to wander on the map and try and find things. Like, for example,
Totally.
when they would fly like Noah and Milo and all those guys out to like L.A. to play the game early, they get a head
Mhm.
start on the Easter egg because they know where everything is on the map. They know their way around the map. They figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like the
As soon
fact.
as that ban is lifted on YouTube, like
Mhm,
they're
the
like pack a
embargo.
punch tutorial going up.
Yep,
Like
exactly. That
yeah,
all the tutorials went up at like 10 a.m. right when the embargo lifted. So I don't know. It just like I get it from both sides, but I was just personally annoyed because I wanted to search for the Easter egg and it was solved by the
totally.
time I went to lunch at work that day. So
Yeah,
so
I get that.
all right, 2 rapid fire questions, then we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. Are you ready?
Yes.
First rapid fire question: Who is the mole inside of Requiem?
Um, I don't think we've seen them yet, or if we have, we like only heard them in audio logs.
Ooh, interesting. Okay, okay, I like that. I like that. I would lean towards. Oh, I want to say Dr. Strauss, but maybe that's just because he's German and it makes me think of Richthofen, and he also worked
Fair.
at D Machine before. But
Like I wouldn't like. I'm not convinced anybody is safe right now.
mm-hmm.
In a way, like I'm not convinced it's not Weaver. I'm not convinced. Like it could be any of those main people that consistently talk to us, and I would not be surprised one bit.
Mm-hmm.
But like I think to avoid like that trope, I assume it's someone we haven't seen or someone we might meet in the next map.
Gotcha. Okay, and last question: Do you think Samantha is evil? Uh,
Maybe I've no. I don't. I can't come up with like an official answer.
mm-hmm. Okay, later. Let me rephrase it. Do you think she was
Hold on. Hold on.
okay?
No. Final answer.
Okay, so like you don't think
You
she
can
was
ask
like
your question though.
corrupted and like the dark ether got inside of her and corrupted her and like no.
I think she's already corrupted, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But like she's not like acting on it as an evil impulse because she like if she does remember things, she remembers what happened,
Mm-hmm.
and it led to the destruction of that universe.
Mm-hmm.
So like whether or not like she can control it and like it's not like this all powerful like entity inside of her like the ether like overpowering her, then no. But like yes, but like no, you know?
Yeah, sure. Whatever
What do you think?
whatever you said. I would have to agree for like the most part. I feel like she had the ether inside of her already coming from the old universe, and I think that she honestly kind of got captured on purpose. I think I talked about this in an earlier video, but I think she got captured on purpose, and her getting captured, knowing that she would get put into the dark ether, like that was part of her plan, and that's why
Yeah.
she was so like happy and like, oh Weaver, we have a lot to talk about. Like my plan worked. I didn't tell you about it because I didn't want you to worry. Blah blah. But like, I feel like part of her plan was to go back in, and whether now the question is, did like if she went back and went in there to find the stuff that she came out with, like the katana and like the goggles and stuff, like
Yeah.
if she went in there to find those specifically, or if they became a part of her outfit because that was part of her memory from the previous games.
Oh.
So
like how much control does like the dark ether have,
like, yeah,
in a way?
Because like it said, like the dark ether changed people into like the mimics, and it changed people into like alligator like things.
Yeah.
And so if it can like kind of basically like, as her memories are brought forth, the dark ether can kind of like put those things in her life again. I don't know. So bonus points. Will we ever see anyone from the old crew again?
Not including Richtofen?
Not including Richtofen, because we should see Eddie at some point.
I think the most we will see of them is either some sort of... We will not physically see them. Final answer. I'm not going to like... I don't want to like over-explain it. We will not see them.
Got it.
Final answer.
Okay. So that's what I like to hear. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if we heard like some audio or something, but I don't think that we will see them. Like, I don't think we're going to see Tank Dempsey rolling up in like a Jeep or something and being like, "What's up, dog?" Like...
Maggot addicts. Yeah. No.
Alrighty. Well, I think, YouTube, that we're going to wrap up our second ever episode of the ZPod here. I hope it made your guys' day better, and I hope that you guys kind of enjoy this content style that Lanjo and I are trying to make a thing.
ZPod?
Wow, that was so loud. Oh my goodness.
I know. Good luck pitching that down, bro.
Joe, where can people find you?
YouTube.com/Spesh and Twitch.tv/Spesh27. I'm out.
Why is he the way that he is, YouTube? All right, guys. Well, I'll have all of Joe's links in the description down below. Again, if you guys have anything that you want us to talk about in the next ZPod, maybe like when you want to see it, or like would you like this to be like a weekly thing, but like shorter episodes? I'm not sure. So go ahead and just kind of let me know in the comments down below what you guys are thinking. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll do all that good YouTube stuff. And yeah, guys, that is going to do it from here. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.